Alright, we've done the hard work. Now let's see if we can get ourselves a winning record and also make playoffs. Hey guys, what's up? IrishEmerald here. Welcome back to another video for FIFA. And this week we actually might have a chance to get a winning record. Believe it or not, we actually may not have a really good chance of doing it. So hopefully we can do that. Continue like this late season push into playoffs. We're 4-4. We're in with a good shout. And honestly, you know, if things keep going well, we never know. Now, unfortunately for you guys, the audio for the original recording of this video was completely utter trash. I don't know what went wrong. It was all hazily. It was just absolute muck. I didn't really want to put you guys through having to listen to that. So I just said to myself, do you know what? Listen, we're just going to chill. I re-record it. You guys unfortunately got to look at the replay of the video of the battle as I try and to remember why and what I did, because honestly, it was being a little while back since we battled, because, you know, the timeline and whatever for battling, and then me getting around to editing it and then noticing that the editing of the the recording of the video was crap. But anyways, I'm going to try and break down exactly what I did and what I brought and all that kind of good stuff, and hopefully you'll find it just as entertaining as normal. But anyways, this week we're up against J. Pole, coach of the Quagsires, and he's in a very similar position as us. He actually does need to win out. I think he's in a slightly stronger situation when it comes to playoffs. He's like 4-4 with positive differential, whereas we have negative. So he's in a slightly better situation than we are. I can't quite remember. He might be, I think he's 4-4, might be 5-3. Quite, you know, can't remember. Memory not great here, but very, very tight scenario. And if he picks up the W, he gets, you know, obviously the advantage going in to get in playoffs. Actually, he's 4-4 now that I remember. Yeah, 4-4. If we manage to obviously pick up the W, then we're going to be in the playoff contention at that point with a winning record in the playoff seeds leading to the final week of the season, which is fantastic. But yeah, his team, as you can see right here for me now, consists of Tornace Therian, Mega Medicham, Tangrowth, Metagross, Primarina, Alola Muck, Galvantula, Cryogonal, I think it's Cryogonal, I've been mispronouncing that Pokemon for a while, Mudsdale, Regidrago, Magmar, and a Bastiodon. Now he's got some really huge threats here. I do really like the team that he's got. Mega Medicham, awesome wall breaker. He's got really fast revenge sweeper in Tornace Therian, and with Torn T and Tangrowth on his side, it means that he's able to have that really sick bulky regenerator core that can be quite difficult to break through. And then on top of that, he's got some nice bulk to center that with the Primarina, the Alola Muck, and the Metagross sitting there aside. He's recently picked up the Galvantula over a Circuitry, so that's going to give him webs and also gives him a faster attacker, so that's something to watch out for. And he's got the Regidrago too, which has this attack that's like Eruption, but it's basically a dragon type equivalent of it, and that can be quite scary too, because Regidrago being is relatively bulky, is able to take hits, will be able to keep that attack more powerful for longer, so that is quite scary to deal with. And then he's got a couple of other things there. Mudsdale is a little bit of an issue for our team too. It's able to kind of come in and deal with the aggron a little bit, so he's got threats, but hopefully we have the team to be able to deal with him. And with that, let me break down the team that we have this week. So I'm going to be going over this very quickly, you guys, because it's a post recording and memory's not quite there, so I'm just going to give you a quick breakdown and we'll dive right into the replay. Out first, we have Wicked our Spiritomb, Fully Fizzdeath. This is going to be our Mega Medicham answer. The sheer auto counter for that, we're just going to go into Mega Medicham every time, and depending on the situation we're in, we're either going to be clicking Will-O-Wisp, Poltergeist, Foul Play, or Sucker Punch. One of those 4 moves. It's going to hit a plethora of monsters on the side of his squad, because he hasn't got anything that's resistant to the Spiritomb other than the Alola Muck, and if we're able to get the Will-O-Wisp off the Alola Muck, then that becomes quite more easier to deal with throughout the game. So that is quite nice. So hopefully Spiritomb will be able to do the work, be able to counter that Mega Medicham, and maybe also the Metagross in this matchup. After that, we're bringing Rosie the Roserade this week. Offensive set, 200 hit in speed to be able to speed the threats that are on Tornace's team that could potentially outspeed up a Roserade. 252 H in special attack, and we're running Spikes, Leaf Storm, Synthesis, and Sludge Bomb. We will be able to get Spikes up in this matchup between coming down to Primarina and being able to sponge hits off the Galvantula. We should be able to get a couple of Spikes off there, and also on the Tangrowth. Leaf Storm then is able to 1-hit KO the Primarina, which is pretty slick. We have Sludge Bomb then to be able to get nice damage off on the Tangrowth, and a couple of other mons that want to come in and out. And then Synthesis is just to be able to keep this mon healthy, because Roserade is actually just with its natural bulk is able to come in and take hits off the Galvantula, is able to take hits off the Primarina, etc, etc. So being able to kick the Synthesis and being able to keep Roserade healthy is going to be very important for us this week. So that's what Roserade is designed for. After that, we have our Colossus, our Mega Aggron with Earthquake, Stealth Rock, Roar, and Heavy Slam. Spadef this week to hopefully deal with the Tornadus. Tornadus is a very, very big threat for us this week, and we don't really have anything that can actually go 1v1 against it other than this Mega Aggron. And aside of that, the Regidrago, which I mentioned up earlier, that also needs dealing with. So we're going to be bringing this Aggron, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, Roar, and Heavy Slam as the moveset. EQ for the Metagross, and if that wants to come in and deal with us, Rocks is Rocks, obviously. Roar to maybe hopefully allow us to pivot around and stop the likes of Mudsdale coming in, setting up with his ability and being a bit of a nuisance. And then Heavy Slam is just, you know, our main offensive move to be able to deal with the Tornadus, Ethereum, and the Tangrowth and such. So that's our Mega Aggron this week. Hopefully it'll do the work. After I'm bringing this SD Talonflame, and this is basically going to be my win con here, guys. Everything is going to be built around putting Talonflame in the position that we can just click Solar Sense and win this game as we go along. Rocking out with Solar Sense, Flare Blitz, Defog, and Dual Wing Beat. We have to bring a Defog this week because Webs in particular, Webs is just a really big problem. So because Webs have to bring a Defog, so we have Defog on Talonflame, even though this is going to be our SD set. So it might have to be coming in earlier than what we wanted to, but in an ideal fashion, we want to keep this thing in the bag. Click SD when we can on the Metagross, when we can on the Tangrowth, when we can on the Mudsdale if it's low enough, etc. And then from there, Flare Blitz and Dual Wing Beat, that combination should be able to pick off the J-Pole's team, and that's hopefully what we see happen. Next up, we're bringing Choice Band Urshifu. Look, no one has an answer for this, right? And if they do have an answer, it's we've been able to play around it so well the last couple of weeks, so I ain't going to change it. I'm going to force people to try and play around it, and then my other 5 months, I'm just going to exploit the space that Urshifu is able to create, so I am changing that up again. We're going Wicked Blow, Close Combat, U-Turn, and Poison Jab this week. Poison Jab is for the Primarina, U-Turn for pivoting, and then Dual Stabs. That's all we need, and Urshifu is able to do all that beautiful work. And then lastly, we're going with Melodic Spread Defenses this week with the Rocky Helmet. Rocking out Miracle, Flip Turn, Ice Beam, and Recover as the moveset. This is mainly here to try and catch out the Alola Muck, the Primarina, the Galvantula, and the Tornadus Therian. We have enough bulk where we're going to be able to deal with the Alola Muck pretty nicely. We can come in, take the incoming knockoff, get the chip on Alola Muck, and there's no way for Alola Muck to get that recovery back. Then we were able to Flip Turn, Ice Beam, just get a little bit pivoting on it as we see fit. Click Recover, etc. That's going to be really nice. And then the Miracle there is for us to potentially take a hit from the Primarina, whether it be Moonblast, Hydro, from the Galvantula, whether it be, you know, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, not quite Thunder. Don't really want to be dealing with that unless we're full HP. And then with the Tornadus as well, if we can catch a Hurricane on that, click the Miracle, knock it out. That'd be really nice tech if we can actually execute it. So hopefully we can do that. Melodic for me is one of my more expendable ones this week. If it's able to take out one of his main walls there, particularly say his Primarina or his Galvantula, then I'll take that exchange 1-for-1 every time because it opens up the door for the rest of my team. But yeah, guys, that's the team. Let's get on up into the battle. Alright, you guys, here we are in the battle. Again, apologies that this is a replay and it's not live comm. It's just, as I said at the start, audio turned to absolute trash, so can't be helped. But here we are anyways. We have the Tangrowth, the Metagross, the Tornadus, the Alola Muck, the Galvantula, and the Primarina that came this week. Bit surprised that we didn't see the Mega Medicham, especially when we were doing this live. I thought Mega Medicham for the Mega Aggron was going to be huge, and I was a bit surprised to not see it. So obviously that opened up Spiritomb a little bit more to potentially deal with the Metagross. Looking at the rest of his team, I knew I just needed to get a little bit of chip on some of his mons and scout what the Galvantula is, scout if he's got a Scarfer there somewhere, and potentially Talonflame was going to be able to sweep. So really happy with what we see in front of us, and hopefully we'll be able to do that. We'll go from there. We'll go from there, and we'll see what happens. We'll just go off, keep playing, go from that point. He's going to leave with his Tangrowth, and now I apologize if some of my commentary is not going to be too good here, you guys, because I may forget a couple of moves. I just need to get my rocks off, you know, go into my Roserade. We lose our Black Sludge there, which is nice, but not the end of the world. I do have synthesis there, so I'm still able to recover. I'm just going to go get my my spikes off, and I notice then we see the Tornadus come in. I know he's heavy duty boots. I know it's defog, so I know that's a bit more of a pivot. I'm just going to get my rocks off again, as I'm just going to go for the for a rocks and go for the roar. Unfortunately, that doesn't quite work out for me, but I do know he's going to stay in here, so I'm just going to get the heavy slam, and you see the damage that does there, so that's pretty nice. He's going to turn around, try and also remove any opportunity that he gets to. Let me pause that there for a moment. Just basically make sure we have hazards off, because I knew he was going to have to, you know, U-turn there, but didn't want to take that damage and he wanted to get the regenerator boost. Now, I saw the damage he's able to do there on the Gabantia, and I knew right there he was specs. We're going to see that come into play later on in the battle, but I was able to count that damage mid-battle and realize, okay, that thing is now specs. So that obviously for me was a threat, but it also made me a lot more comfortable then with my Talonflame, because I knew then that he's not going to be sashed, and my Talonflame would be able to outrun out speed. So I knew at that point I was quite happy there. I didn't really need to get too much damage on the Gavantia. Once I got to +2, I was happy enough. I just need to get damage on the Primarina, the Alola, and potentially the Metagross. I need to scout what that Metagross wants to do first. Oh, and this Tangrowth potentially, because I want to be able to keep my because without me knowing what the rest of his team is, I'm not too sure if we were able to kind of go in and just be uber aggressive. But quite happy with what we saw so far at that point. But yeah, I'm going to get my rocks up. We take the full switch. I'm going to go for the heavy slam there, and I know that this thing right is now Rocket Helmet. We're just going to go right into my Roserade, because I didn't want to take the knockoff at all there. So we're just going to go in Roserade. I synthesis up there on the switch, and we're just going to pivot into my Melodic, because I know this thing is wanting to do some crazy stuff here. Well, I was hoping this thing would knock off, but this muck actually decides it wants to do some crazy stuff here, and it's pure infestation. You know, once they get damage off, all that kind of good stuff, wear me down. Now, I'm okay here because I outspeed this muck. Okay, and we see the taunt there, but I will always be able to just get Chip. As you see him, he wants to go for Rocky Helmet. It's going to take the knockoff, the Rocky Helmet damage there. And I'm okay with just being able to, you know, wait my time here, get a little bit of Chip, get the scouting off, because I'm always going to be able to recover. As you're going to see me here, you know, I do get the freeze there on that, because I was predicting him to make the switch after my after what's called I was sorry, hold on, I'm talking nonsense. I was just waiting for him to for my taunt to wear off for me to be able to get the recover off. Now he gets the freeze there, and he stays frozen for a few turns there. Very unfortunate. Freeze is the worst worst type of hacks. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Like, you know, if you want to get hacks, like, you know, freeze just shuts you down, and there's no end turn for freeze. It's just a ratio. It's like a percentage of you becoming de-thawed. So absolutely sucks. But we're going to see my Urshifu come in, get a little bit of damage. I'm going to pivot around back into my Mega Aggron here, as I went for the heavy slam in front of the Primarina after we do a bit of pivoting, because I didn't want him to get a free sub off. I didn't know if he was going to be sub or not. And I make a mistake here, you guys. After sacking my Mega Aggron, I went into there thinking, oh, I'd be able to take a hit from this Primarina, but I realized, wait a minute, this thing is sub, and that's an absolute disaster for me. I should have gone into my Roserade really early there, knowing that this thing was sub. So I, you know, brainlessly decided just to go into my life game. That was a really dumb play. We eventually pivot around because we get into Roserade, take damage, but we scared out the Primarina. Spiritomb comes in, as you just seen there. Let me slow this down just a touch, and we get tricked, which definitely kind of sucks. But look, not the end of the work, because Spiritomb will still do quite a bit of work for me, because, you know, there's not a move here outside this load of muck that wants to take the Poltergeist. Now, we still see the muck very much frozen, which absolutely sucks. And he takes a crit there with the U-turn. So, no luck there for J-Pole with the Alola muck. Absolutely sucks. Balls for him. Should have gone a lot more luck there. Truth be told, should have gone a lot more luck. I'm in my Roserade there because I know he's frozen. I'm just going to get the synthesis off. I figured, you know, it's still kind of free. And then I'm going to pivot back out to my Urshifu. He's still frozen again. As you can see, he should be well thought out by now. It's the worst part of the hacks. You're basically just stuck in here. And I decided, look, I'm just going to go for another U-turn, knock out the muck. Muck is dead. I didn't know what I wanted to do, if I wanted to keep it or sack it or not, because it was getting passive recovery there. And I bring my Roserade back in. In comes the Tornadus. And I'm feeling he's going to go for the defog there, so I'm just going to bring in my Melodic, as he does go for the defog. Now he knows I have Ice Beam, so I reckon he's not going to stay in, so he just goes for the U-turn. Hopefully, I did go for the flip turn here, past me, and I did, brilliant. So I did figure that one out, and we go back into our Spiritomb. Now, from here, I decided we just go Poltergeist, right? Because I'm not going to get stuck into these shenanigans of Will-O-Wisping. So I just go for the Poltergeist, especially with the Alolan gone, wide open. You see the damage we do there. Like, that's huge damage. And we also see that Metagross lefties. That opens up the door for my Talonflame a lot more. Really, really happy with that. I'm going to go for the Poltergeist again. And we get a nice, more chunk of damage there. So, really happy with that. We're going to stay and keep going for this Poltergeist every single time. We don't need to be doing anything too crazy. And we see 35% there. Constantly getting chipped there as J-Pole finally likes to stay in, go for the Hurricanes, and just getting chipped down on my Spiritomb. Now he's going to go for the U-turn. I'm staying in here because I'm really liking the damage I'm getting done on his team. So I'm just going to keep doing that and keep going for this damage here, right? So I'm going to keep going for Poltergeist. Just keep getting chipped, I'm really, really happy with all that. We see the Giga Drain there. He's going to get a little bit more HP back, and this is where I make a mistake, right? I'm going to just pause here for a moment. This is probably not a great mistake. Now, you just see that I just stayed in there and just kept getting chip, right? And I was more than happy to do so at that moment because I was happy with the chip we were getting. We were getting really nice chip on the Torn. I wanted to bait the Tangrowth into going for the knockoff on me, and also to potentially scout what the rest of his moveset was. And he didn't really have another Mon that could come in and take the Poltergeist other than the Tangrowth. What I probably should have done here was, I now know enough on J-Pole's team, and this is the killer. We're 43 turns in, you guys, right? So probably a little bit wear and tear, a little bit of rust because I'm still not used to some of these longer battles. But what I should have done here, and I got away with this in one of my wins where I was able to like just look, I was in a more winning position. I didn't need to risk it. But here I'm not really in a winning position. It's very much 50-50. And I had the opportunity here to bring in my Talonflame and click Swords Dance and kill and wreck his team. Like, we have the Tornadus down low, 26%. That's going to go back up to 76%. But we get to +2 with Talonflame. That's that thing dead to the Flare Blitz. Metagross is down weak. I know the Galvantula is Specs now, so I know I'm able to kill that with the Flare Blitz, so I'm happy with there. And I got the Primarina down to 63%, so my Jewel Wingbeat should be able to kill that when we get to +2. So the only thing that really scared me off is that I do not know Tangrowth's 4th move, and I was afraid that was going to be like a Stone Edge rock slide, something like that. So I didn't really want to risk it there because I wanted Talonflame to be my major win con. But you could have argued I definitely could have brought in my Talonflame here, and I definitely would have probably scared out the Tangrowth at this stage of the game. So very unfortunate that we probably didn't do that. Maybe a mistake by my part. Probably should have been a little bit more aggressive there. But anyways, we're going to go to my Roserade. And that was another thing as well, right? Rather than actually allowing Roserade to come in and potentially take a hit, right? And now in this case we didn't because it was a switch, but I probably should have just let Spiritomb go down, take damage, and regardless of who knocked me out, I'm in the position then to bring in either Talonflame or Roserade and pick up kills. So that's on me again. But anyways, we didn't get that read right at all, and I'm just going to go back onto my Spiritomb. He misses the Hurricane, but that's no big deal. Like, we're not going to do anything here other than Sucker Punch and just get that chip down again. And we just get the U-turn off. That's fine, like, you know. We still have the chip on the Tornadus. He's still recovering, but he still has the chip. This is another bit of a mistake for me here. I go into this, and I know this thing is Specs. I've already calculated it. I said it even in my live comp, but I forgot here. And I should have just gone into my Talonflame and just clicked the move, right? And terrify this thing, because there's nothing that wants to take Flare Blitz. Even Primarina Flare Blitz into Jewel Wingbeat is not real nice, right? So mistake here by me, because I knew this thing was Specs, and as soon as I bring in Roserade, I crapped the bed a little bit. I'm like, damn, I know this thing is Specs. This is not good, and I'm no real other thing to do here other than just take the hit. And down goes the Roserade. And all of a sudden, because I made a couple of misplays there, after being in a really good position, I'm now lost 2 Pokemon. And that's not good for me at all. I bring in the Urshifu in an attempt to scout the Galvantula, but that's no good for me either, as he brings in the Primarina. So I do manage to bluff my way out of that. So we're still in this with a fight. I bring in my Urshifu again. It's choice banded, but I have to kind of reveal that now and just kind of force him out and make a prediction. So I go for the Wicked Blow here. We get the 50% off, which is nice. But what I was predicting, what I kind of thought would happen in the in my prep, and as he elects to sack off the Metagross because he can't really sack off the Tornadus here. But what I figured he might do in his prep, which is very, very scary, is that I figured he would use Tangrowth and Tornadus as regenerated core to scout what item I have on Urshifu and what move I lock myself into, and then pivot around as necessary, which is exactly what I did. So at this stage in the game, you guys, I'm basically just trying to make sure Talonflame gets in here. We haven't lost this game yet, but we put ourselves in a worse position that we actually needed to. But I'm still trying to get Talonflame in here. These last 8 turns have been pretty abysmal for me, but the longer I'm able to keep Talonflame in the back and we can position in Talonflame in to be able to kill, the better it is for us, right? So I'm still in here with a shout. I'm going to bring in my Urshifu here, and we're just going to try and make sure we can get damage off in this Primarina, which we do. I was expecting him to switch out there, so I was surprised he stayed in. So but I just went Wicked Blow because Wicked Blow is going to do the most throughout. Probably should have gone Poison Jab there, if I'm being honest, because if I was able to go Poison Jab there, like, I'm always going to be able to, if Tornadus comes in and knocks me out, he knocks me out, but I'm always going to be able to get damage off on something there regardless. So probably should have gone for the Poison Jab there, because I was going to get good damage regardless on who it was. I go for the Dual Wing Beat, and absolutely just disgusted that we didn't kill there, but then he goes for the Psychic, right? So I'm delighted there because we definitely got away with that. Looks like he did not bring the Scald for at all on his team, so I was very, very happy with that. I couldn't SD there. You're probably guys wondering why did I not SD there after seeing the Psychic, and you're going to see exactly why. I had to click Flare Blitz there on the Galvantula, and I have to click Flare Blitz on the Tangrowth. So I'm going to go for the Flare Blitz here and hope that we do manage to hopefully dodge a Hurricane, but we don't, and that's GG's. Had we managed to maybe dodge the Hurricane, we might have been able to kill the Tangrowth, but honestly, we probably didn't deserve that win because we misplayed Horby there in the mid-end game. So GG to J-Pole. I thought he played very, very well. Played a very, very clean game. There was probably not one play from him that I thought was questionable. I thought all the plays he made were very, very solid. They were very sound. I can't be critical of what he brought and what he used. For me, more so, as I said, that mid-end game where I showed you the few moves that we made mistakes in, that's problematic. Shouldn't be on me to be making those mistakes. And that was the winning and the losing of this game for me. Like, we lost 2-0, but had I been able to make those couple of extra plays and just know what was better in those moments, we would have been fine. I was just afraid of the Rock Slide on the Tangrowth. I figured he might bring that, but you know, at the same time, there was no reason for me not to bring in to let the Spiritomb go down and then depending on what monster he was, what took out the Spiritomb, we could use that as our momentum builder from there. So that's where that's what we would want to take away. We could have taken away from that. That's the major takeaway we could have taken away from that. And then the big mistake on the Specs Galvantula. But yeah, we're 4-5 now, guys. Unfortunately, playoffs are still within reach. We're not eliminated. We do have a mountain to climb. We have an outside shot looking in. Now there is 2 teams within playoffs who are 5 and 4, and they are playing each other. So one of them has to become 5 and 5, and depending on who it is, the easier it is for myself to get in, and a couple of other coaches as well vying for that spot. But the unfortunate side is we're playing against the number 1 seed, right? So it's not going to be an easy task. So it's going to be a tough mountain to climb. We have to get that. We have to get the result there and hope results go elsewhere for us to make playoffs. So that's where we are sitting with that, you guys. But GG to J-Pod, he played a very, very clean game. I'm just unfortunate I couldn't give him the live com because it would have been a bit nicer. But hopefully you guys found it and found it enjoyable. And if you want to check out J-Pod's Draft League website profile, a link to that will be in the description down below. But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there today. If you haven't clicked the like button, please do so. Smash the like button down below for me. If you haven't clicked the sub button, please do so. And if you're not following me over on Twitch, link to that is in the description down below, where we do Draft League watch along. So we watch some Draft League videos with you guys. We play some Pokemon Showdown and we play some Pokemon Wi-Fi battles. So if you're not following me over on Twitch already, please do so. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there, folks. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.